Hi everyone, if you're just joining us, we're just waiting for everyone to come back from the breakout rooms. So I think we should all be getting back now. We wanted to show you the results of our word cloud, so we really appreciate your participation. And let's see, I think we have everyone back. Great. All right, so this is the result of our word cloud, so thank you everyone. So we decided today, since we have taken notes in all of your breakout sessions, that we aren't going to do a report back. Rebecca, if you would mind sharing the slide deck. So we do have Maimuna, who was having connection issues, on the line now. I'm not sure if her connection will be strong enough to give her presentation, but I wanted to give her a chance now just to see if it's working. Maimuna, can you hear us? Are you able to unmute?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hi, we can hear you. Great.
You.
Great. Rebecca, if you would mind sharing your slides, we will just very quickly give Maimuna 5 minutes to present her case study, and then we might have time to take like one question, and then we'll go on to our next section. Can you see our slides okay, Maimuna? We are ready for you to start when you're ready.
Okay, okay. Can you go to the next slide, please? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Slide 2.
Yep, we're on the project overview slide.
Okay. Who is sharing the slides? And let's go to slide 2 so that I can talk to it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to be presenting on economic empowerment for women at the community level and the general norms that affect the empowerment of women at the community level. We work with grassroots women, and our focus in one of the villages, we got funding from Packard Foundation to address reproductive health issues. But when we went there, we found out that there are some barriers and norms that prevent women to access reproductive health, such as some of the cultural belief that it is their culture that women don't deliver in the hospital because it's going to affect the health of the baby, and they don't take antenatal drugs facilities. They only use traditional birth attendants to take delivery. And if you go to the hospital, you are considered to be a weak woman, and the baby will not grow very well or will not be intelligent. So we went there and we had to address the issue of the norms. And we found out that most of the people that influence or that insist on applying those norms are the in-laws or mother-in-laws in the community. So we had focus group discussions, and we were able to sensitize them. And we also had focus group discussion with the husbands to address this. And then we introduced economic empowerment as part of our intervention, and conditions to access to access our project is: 1, you have to go to antenatal clinic if you are pregnant; 2, your children have to go to school; 3, you have to practice personal and environmental hygiene; And 3, you have to be engaged in economic activities. I'm talking generally now. So we were able to discuss with the husbands, and then the village to address the issue of the norms. So that we will.
Maimuna, you are breaking up pretty badly. So we might just move to the next slide. Sorry about that. We'll give everyone a chance to read this next slide. I'm sorry, Maimuna, you're breaking up. Do you want to try again?
I think the network from her own end is poor.
Yeah. Hi, Maimuna. I think that your connection is not too great. So
can you?
All right. I think we lost her. So we'll just show her next slide. And then we'll share the slides for everyone to review her case study as well. Thanks, Rebecca. And the conclusions from her project. Sounds like they had some really good results. Great, so without further ado, we are going to share with you all an overview of how we are working to map case studies such as the ones that we heard today. So I'm going to turn it over to Betsy Kostenbader, who's joining us from FHI. And Betsy, just let us know when you need us to share the actual map for you, and take it away.
Okay, great. Good afternoon, everyone. So last time we met, we had a chance to briefly make you aware of a resource that we put together as part of the Global Learning Collaborative. And this is a map of the social norms focused projects. And today I'd like to take a few minutes to orient you to it because we've been making efforts to get some more entrees in Nigeria that showcase some of the work that you all are doing and that's being done in Nigeria. And also just as a form of a reminder, form of encouragement to y'all to use this platform. I think it would be a great resource for y'all to get to better know each other's work. So the map, as I mentioned, is hosted on Overseas Development Institute's Advancing Learning and Gender Norms website. And the link can be accessed at this link, and it includes both research and intervention projects. So next slide, please. So you can go to the next slide, Meredith or Rebecca. So when you, sorry, can you advance to the next slide? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it's just being a little sticky.
It's just saying slow. Okay. So when you click on a project that is on the map, what you'll find there are these brief summaries of the project. In the summaries, you'll note that we generally try to highlight certain aspects of each project, such as when it took place, what years, where within each country, who is the target group. So this is one of the projects that's up on the map in Nigeria, the Masculinity, Faith, and Peace Project. Next slide, please. We also pull out and highlight which social norms were targeted or of interest to the project. And if it was an intervention project, we similarly pull out the project components that were utilized. So for instance here, the social norms of interest for gender equity and roles, GBV, IPV, social norms, family planning use, and social cohesion. So next slide, please. we also, what we think is particularly useful and beneficial for this resource is that we highlight the approach that was taken by each project to measuring social norms, and we request the project share the surveys and data collection forms that they use to collect data on social norms. So we think it's through the sharing of resources and evidence we'll really be able to move the field of social norms change forward, as this will facilitate that you don't need to start from scratch with your measures, as well as getting to a place where we can all compare the data, like we say, apples to apples, or, in this case, maybe oranges to oranges, as opposed to oranges to mangoes. We can all get to a similar place. So if you pursue, these are the surveys that they submitted. So what we would ask from you, and we sent this link out again before, and we'll send it out again, but there is a form that we put together that just walks you through some questions about your project, so you can identify which terms best relate to your project, etc. And then at the end, it will ask you to provide a summary, like the one we just saw, of less than 200 words, talking about where your project was done, who it targeted, etc. And so I'd like you to just so this on the back end information, this is what it will look like. It will have the name of your project, region, your short summary. And then I know we're very pressed for time, but I would really like to show you, if you could click on the next slide, I'd like to show you the actual map and how you can navigate it. So in this map, you can click anywhere on the map. Yeah, okay, so you can click anywhere on the map and zoom in on that part of the world to see what's happening, what kind of projects there are. And then you can see, for instance, if you hover over Nigeria, well, any other country, you'll see how many projects we have from that country. So that's one way you can access things by region. And then it will, down below, it will show the projects that we have collected from that country. And then you can further click on that, one of those projects, any of the projects. So here again, here's the summary of the project, organizations that were involved, the years that it was done, where it was done, who it targets, etc. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of that page, this is where we have, so this is where we've collected and shared any data collection forms that the project has utilized. We also share here if the project has any final reports or briefs or manuscripts. We generally post them there as well. But please note, we don't require that the project has been finalized or completed before it's posted. You can always come back later and post any additional materials about your project. But in the meantime, just sharing what you're doing, norms you're targeting, approaches you're taking will be very helpful to facilitate learning from one another. Now, if you go back, Meredith or Rebecca, I don't know who's driving the ship here, but if you go back to the map, the other thing I would highlight is on the left-hand side, there are places that you can also search the map in other ways. So you can search, there's about 45 different tags that you can select. So if you really want a project that's focused on disaster risk reduction, for instance, or adolescence, you can click on that, and it will show you where all the projects are in the world that have done social norms projects that have focused on adolescence, for instance. So these are all the projects, and you can click on those. Similarly, if you go back to the left-hand side, so those are, like I said, 45 lots of different tags. You can also, if you're particularly interested in a specific data collection method, you can click that drop-down menu. And if you're specifically interested in finding some vignettes, you click on that. I think you need to scroll out. There you go. Scroll. So a lot of projects that have done vignettes work throughout the globe, and then you can click on the map to get to the projects, or again below, it will show you which projects have used vignettes. So this is super helpful, super useful resource. So a lot of different projects, and probably most of them have their actual vignettes potentially attached to the bottom of their summaries. And then the final thing I would highlight to you is that over on the left-hand side, another way you can search the map is just by putting in a specific term that you want to look for. So you can put in any kind of term. Maybe you want to put in immunization or something and see what projects have done work on that on the globe. And I think there should be some summaries. Oh, not on immunization. There we go. There is one. There we go. Perfect, and it's in Nigeria. So as you'll see, we really appreciate those of you who've already sent in your project summaries. We've been able now to add about 6 additional summaries for projects that are working on social norms in Nigeria. And we hope to collect more. And this can be any work that you're doing or any other projects that you know of in Nigeria that you'd like to see reflected on this map. Just please send those along to us. And we, as I said, will be sending out the project form, the quick form that you need to fill in again, so that we can get your work highlighted on this map and share for one another. Are there any questions I can answer about the map really quickly? I know we're behind time here. Happy to answer any questions. Okay, great. We look forward to seeing your map featured, your work rather, featured on the map. I think it'll be great. Okay, and I'll turn it back over to you, Rebecca, I believe.
Yes, Bethy?
Yes.
There's a question.
Sure.
Yes, please can you just explain to people, just in summary, how they can get their projects on the map? Do you have a template that they have to fill, or they just sent in the project?
No, so I apologize. Yeah, so I apologize. Maybe I went over that too quickly. So if you go back a few slides, Rebecca, so what we have is this slide, this here. So we have it of type form. It's like a quick survey, and we send it out once before, but we'll continue to send it out. We'll send it out again. And what you do, it walks you through a few questions, like which words best describe your project, that you'd want people to be able to find it under the tags on, and a few other questions. And in addition, it asks for a really short, less than 200 word summary, which tells us about where the project happened, who the target population was. So it's a pretty straightforward little survey, but we're happy to help you if you have any questions about it. And then you send that, and that will come to us, and then we'll review it, and then we'll put it up on we'll reach back out to you with any questions, and then we'll put it up on the map. And I believe there are a couple of other questions here. Yeah, Oganwa, do you have a question?
Yes. Let's go ahead.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for showing us the map. I actually had a question, and I had sent an email earlier. So Chai had submitted a case study to be featured on the map back in May, but we hadn't gotten feedback. And just also now, while you were presenting, the case study that you were actually showing in Word was actually our case study. Yes, this is us.
So this is great. You said this, and it's not up on the map. Is it on the map? Let's take a look if it's on the map. I'm hoping it is. So
okay. We're waiting to hear back, and I had sent a few follow-up emails.
Yes, we apologize. It was a little bit slow because generally we have people on our end who review these before they go up, and there was a backlog of cases to go up. So recently they just put up a bunch more cases, and I believe this is one of the projects that is now on the map. So take a look, and if not, let's definitely get it up there. So I apologize. Yep.
All right, exciting. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for submitting. And Adam, I believe you also have a question. Could you clarify your question, Adam? What specifically would you like to, what was your question about the map? All right, maybe Adam isn't there. Okay, so feel free to reach out with any additional questions. Hopefully the process is relatively straightforward now that you just did this short survey, and then we will take it from there. And but please do follow up with us if you don't see something that you submitted on the map. We'll try to get it on there. And yeah, I think this will be a great resource. So thank you for your interest and participation. Okay.
Thanks, everyone. So we're just going to wrap up, and earlier we were having problems with our poll, but I think this is a great time to launch our poll, and then I'll turn it over to Mikhail to just let us know what's coming up for the community of practice. So I'm going to launch a poll right now, and as a reminder, this is just to hear from you about what you're excited to get started working on first. And this is really going to help us inform some of the next activities that we plan, that MSpace plans for you all. So you should see a poll that has popped up on your screen now. and it may be only letting you pick one. So just pick your top one and we'll see.
And you may need to scroll down to see all the options.
Yes. I see the results coming in. We have 7 people. And Rebecca, if you want to just display the last wrap-up slide
Sure.
while you all are doing the poll, I'll just turn it over to Mikhail to close us out for the day.
All right. Thank you, Meredith. So while we're going on with the poll, I'd just like to also thank Betsy for the presentation on the map. To say that Betsy, I hadn't introduced her earlier. Betsy is one of the supporting the Nigerian Learning Collaborative from FHI. She's working along with Meredith and Rebecca from University of California, San Diego, and Ben and Anya, who you heard from earlier from London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. I always mix that up when I'm saying it. So in summary, for our sessions, I'd like to thank everyone for taking part today. And I think if you have more questions, I realize that more people might still be reflecting on the whole session. You can feel free to send in questions and we'll try to link you up with the presenters. Or if you'd like to contact a person in particular, you can let us know and we'll arrange for the connections. Next slide, please. So just to highlight some of the things that are ongoing and what's coming next. We have some of the webinars ongoing. I spoke about that which happened earlier, which was with Ben, and also talked about there are also more upcoming. I would like to ask you to please participate actively. Hasbi will be sending out reminders as we go forward after this meeting. Also, there is the ongoing application for mentorship and technical assistance. We have received some applications and they are presently under review. I think I'll just confirm the deadline for that and timeline for response from Meredith just before we go. Coming soon after this, we'll be joining a second meeting to share experiences by functional area. You notice in this one, we talked about some themes where we like family planning, talked about women economic empowerment and the likes. But the next sharing session, we'll be talking about we'll be talking about functional areas where program design, M&E, scale up, and planning of ongoing activities. And at this point, I'd like to hand over to Dr. Sada, my colleague from MSpace, to just do a little bit of roundup and close the meeting. Dr. Sada, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mikhail. And I think we've gone a bit over time, but just to summarize, to say thank you everyone for joining. This has been very exciting moment. We have had a lot of learning, and personally, I had some very new social norms that I haven't really had in the past, and I've seen how people are addressing them, and I'm sure a lot of people have also made such kind of learnings. Let me thank specifically people that have worked behind the scene to make sure this worked. Rebecca, Meredith, Ben, Bethy, Anya, and Jenny, of course, from the Gates Foundation, my colleagues from Nigeria, our presenters from World Bank, from Pathfinder and Hajia Maimuna, and Prof. Galadenchi that joined late and was unable to make her presentation. And of course, Modupe for beautifully facilitating that session. Thank you very much, and until we meet again, we look forward to seeing, or at least hearing everyone of us next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Dr. Sada. And I think with that, we've come to the end of this session. We can see the results of the poll on and I think we'll be using that going forward to to start off our next meeting, see based on the responses. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in our next session.